Devin Hester, Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Hall of Fame?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
That's the issue, though. Hey, man, like the Hall of Fame, you're going to run it. No, you're not. You're first ballot. How you doing? Keep it moving. You're going to the front of the line. You deserve to be in that other tier that Primetime talks about as well. So knowing that, I ask you this question. Every year I see these semifinalists of like Hall of Famers, and I get through it. I'm like, that guy, definitely. That guy, definitely that guy, definitely Hall of Famer. But then there's like a logjam, I think, of like guys from like 50 years ago, 40 years ago as well, and there's only a certain amount to go in. That's an interesting little thing that happens with the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Do you pay attention at all?
Yeah. It is interesting because I look at the one, like I'm following the Andre one closely because I want Andre in, obviously. He's my teammate. I love the guy. I think he deserves to be in. And then you go through the arguments and you see all the people talking about like, well, what about this guy? He has these stats. Or what about this guy? He has these from this year. And like you said, there's only a certain number of spots. So it does get very, very interesting. That one criteria that people kind of say is like, can you tell the history of the game without saying this person's name or without that? Like, I do think there is something to be said for like you said, Devin Hester, like he is the greatest return man in the history of the game. Like, I do feel like he is a guy that at what he did, he is the best to have done that. And it's synonymous with that spot. Nobody else did it at that level. So I do think a guy like that deserves to be in. I feel like the receiver position and the quarterback position are two really, really tough ones. Obviously, I think receiver, like, these guys with their comparisons, I feel like the Reggie Wayne, the Marvin Harrison, some of those, like Torrey Holt, some of those, they start to get so number comparative where it's not necessarily about like the full-blown impact on the game. And also, it's just a tough position to make it in at, man. And then quarterback's obviously a different one. Like, I feel like people were asking if Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer, like 2 Super Bowl rings. Like,
and he's Eli
Manning? Yeah, like he's Eli. Like, I feel, duh, he's in. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Tom Coughlin, they're doing the same thing with him too.
What's that?
Because the Super Bowl rings, like other coaches are in who haven't won as many games or as many Super Bowls as Tom Coughlin, but they won't put him in.
They need to just figure out how to get it right with the, I don't want to say
with the old heads? Yes,
they need to just figure out how to get it right. And it's like, hey, you can add on. It's Ohio real estate. I assume you can.
Yeah.
I assume you can make that place bigger as the game continues to grow. Just make it a little, because like if Shane Leckler,
how do you feel about like the 10 or 20 years later type of situation? Because I do think there's guys that like, but I also think it's super hard, man. Because then. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to feel about that.
It's not the whole good,
Right. Well, in the numbers.
Yeah, there is that part of me that's like, well, if you weren't in the first 5 years after your career, what makes it 20 years down the line? Why is it now? But then there is the other part of me, like I grew up in Wisconsin, Jerry Kramer. Like I think Jerry Kramer deserved to be in, but I also see people's point where they're like, yeah, but if you weren't good enough in the first 5, what changed?
Now, with that being said, I think I've been nominated 2 times now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so the first time I was nominated, I said, put Shane Leckler in immediately upon my name being on the same list as him and a couple others. And it's like, if I was to be nominated for 20 years and I actually had a care of going in, you could see how every single year your family, your friends, and you would get upset about it, which I think is what happens for some of these older guys, is like they get like really personally pissed off at the NFL and at everybody for not putting him in there. So whenever they finally go in, I get like super pumped for them. But then I'm like, Can we maybe just not put their names on the list though, so it's not like a public call out that they're not in the Hall of Fame anymore? You know what I mean? After a certain amount of years, I wonder if that can kind of.
Well, that's what I said with Drew Pearson. Like before he went in, last year, he said it basically ruined his life because like every time the doorbell would ring or he would hear like a knock at the door, he was like, oh shit, is that someone? Like, am I finally getting in? And then it never happened for so long, and eventually he did get in, but like it legitimately like ruined his life for like 15 years.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a wild thing, Well,
the numbers.
Yeah, and like you said it is interesting that whoever is arguing on your behalf plays such a massive role as well. Like that it shouldn't be that like you need some lobbyist on your side to get you in. Like it's sad that
our guy couldn't get Dwight Freeney in.
Yeah.
Think about that.
You gotta be kidding me.
You heard the name right there. Everybody in their head was like, Gold Jacket, that guy's a Hall. He's not.
No, sir.
So it's like, it's insane.
Ridiculous.
And if you put Shane in as a punter, then that's taking somebody else's spot, which is why when Ray Guy went in, it got so loud. He's the first punter ever in there. Like, he deserves to be in over wide receiver that did something like 30 years ago. It's like,
And then like 2 years ago, I think it was the 50th Super Bowl or something, where we did like 20 guys. We just popped 20 guys into the Hall of Fame in 1 year. We're like, yeah, go ahead. Oh, open door. Feel free. Like, it was wild.
What are you going to do? Have you already prepared and planned for your Hall of Fame party up there in Canton, Ohio? I heard it's a big deal. You got to get a good tent. You got to have a good tent. You got to do the whole thing.
I haven't prepared. I don't know what I'm going to wear in 30 minutes to go to this thing I got to go do.
Dress
no,
nice.
I don't have
It's
anything
a pilot.
planned beyond today.
Dress nice. It's a pilot. You got to look good.
Yeah, I agree. I hope I look good.
Maybe
That's
full
the goal.
99. Maybe wear the shoulder pads, jersey, pants, helmet.